We're going to head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason. This one about quarterbacks and big-time guaranteed contracts.
I've seen and read and even saw on your show yesterday where Steve, the general manager from the Ravens, is upset about the guaranteed contract. I don't think Watson should be the first person to get that. Well, somebody should remind that guy that Kirk Cousins has been getting guaranteed contracts since his last 2 years in Washington when he was getting franchise, and then his first and every contract he's signed in Minnesota since has been nothing but guaranteed. So this ain't a first. Maybe the amount is a first, but Kirk Cousins has been getting guaranteed money for at least 5 to 7 years. So, just want to say, don't hate on Watson for getting that money, which makes it harder now. So pay that man or watch him leave.
Yeah, and Scott, I think and again, we appreciate all of the voicemails. The issue is it's $230 million guaranteed, as opposed to the $30 million each year. And typically, unlike the NBA and Major League Baseball, typically not an entire contract is guaranteed in football. And the reason is because the owners realize this is a sport where a lot of guys get hurt and can't play.
Yeah, guys get hurt. Now, there's the underlying feeling that if we give a guy guaranteed money in this sport, maybe he doesn't play as hard as he would, right? Because he's got the money and it's such a dangerous sport. I don't know if that could be flawed thinking, but I know that that's part of the genesis of not giving guaranteed contracts. The caller makes a good point with Kirk Cousins, but that was a year-to-year thing. That was not long-term. It wasn't 5 years like Deshaun Watson's. This is a historic contract. It's almost $80 million more in guaranteed money than the next highest, and that's Aaron Rodgers, who's a 4-time MVP, right? And Deshaun Watson has not been he's not been all pro or an MVP, or won a Super Bowl. So, making the leap, it is a leap, and I understand why Steve Bisciotti, the owner of the Ravens, would question it, especially when he's got Lamar Jackson coming up for a contract, and it likely means north of $200 million guaranteed for Lamar Jackson. So it's going to have a ripple effect. Now, somebody would have done that eventually. The Browns, maybe they rushed it a year, right, or two, and that's why the owners around the league probably aren't thrilled with that. And the other part of it is, Deshaun Watson, we talked about the baggage already, right? So it's not like you're giving it to a proven, clean commodity like Tom Brady. It's a guy facing the off-the-field stuff that Deshaun Watson is facing. So I think I think some owners, maybe if they're trying to be high and mighty, would frown upon that. And my final point is, if that's how the Browns got him here. I don't know if he comes here without the Browns guaranteeing all that money. And I think that's something to remember, because the Browns obviously had their heart set on landing Deshaun Watson, right? They burned bridges with Baker Mayfield. They felt Deshaun Watson was the best quarterback option, probably not only this year, but next year. And in order to do that, it took this record deal, but they were willing to do that.
And again, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You either have a franchise quarterback or you're trying to find a franchise quarterback in the NFL. It's not really anything in between. And that the Browns identified a franchise quarterback and went and got him.
Yes, and I think they looked at the draft and said, what are the odds that Malik Willis turns into Deshaun Watson, right? Or even next year. And, do you win with the rookie quarterback? All those things. The fact is, and I think Paul DePodesta referenced this in his interviews in Palm Beach this week, there aren't 26-year-old quarterbacks with 3 Pro Bowls that become available, right? Like entering the prime of his career with the track record Deshaun Watson has. So if you find that guy in this unique situation, and then you're able to get comfortable or deal with the off-the-field stuff, then it's going to be the best quarterback option you have. It just is. So that's why the Browns are willing to give up all the draft picks and spend the money, and maybe even spend the money and then be willing to deal with all the backlash that accompanies it.